Good morning and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Well, hope for GST bill brightens as Congress has signaled support and BJP is ready for a debate in Rajya Sabha. That is the big story this morning. We'll also get you all the updates from Kashmir, where curfew continues for the 12th consecutive day, though media ban has been lifted. All the details on that to follow as well. Let us begin with the headlines. Prime Minister says centre will work for consensus on passage of GST bill. Government to hold meeting with the opposition parties. Congress says it is constructively engaged on the issue with the centre. Have nothing to hide on Kashmir issue, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Home Minister's reply to debate in Rajya Sabha rules out plebiscite in Kashmir. Blames Pakistan for misguiding youth in the state. Ten CRPF jawans of the elite Cobra battalion killed in an IED blast in Aurangabad in Bihar. 3 Naxals eliminated in an encounter that followed. Jolt to the BJP in Punjab. Navjot Singh Sidhu resigns from Rajya Sabha 3 months after nomination by centre. Aam Aadmi Party gives indication he may be the party's face for assembly elections next year. And anti-Trump floor vote fails at Republican convention being held in Cleveland. Delegates fail in final push to block Trump's nomination. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that his government has nothing to hide over the Kashmir issue. Now, under attack from the opposition over the ongoing unrest in the Kashmir Valley, Prime Minister Modi said that the centre would take everybody into confidence while dealing with the matter. The Prime Minister made these remarks during a meeting of the NDA constituents. The meeting came after the BJP Parliamentary Party executive. The Prime Minister also said that the centre will speak to all parties on the GST bill and seek to build a consensus for its passage.
All the constituents of NDA, they're all fully supporting the GST bill. They said that as and when it is taken up, they will stand in favor of the bill in the House. And PM also explained about the importance of the GST, the need to pass it at the earliest, and also he mentioned about the Campa bill also. That is also equally important because the states are losing money. This money goes ultimately to the states. So keeping that in mind, he wanted that that also will be taken up.
प्रधानमंत्री की बात हम हमेशा मानते आए हैं, जैसे कश्मीर के बारे में है। GST भी अगर नेशनल इंटरेस्ट की बात है, तो मुझे लगता है सभी दलों को एक साथ बिठाकर प्रधानमंत्री ने, वित्त मंत्री ने, मैं नहीं कहूंगा 1-to-1 बात करो, लेकिन हर स्टेट का, हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का अपनी एक भूमिका है.
Meanwhile, insisting on ring fencing of the GST rate, the Congress on Monday said that it was constructively engaged with the government on the issue, but wants to prevent them from tinkering with the proposed tax reform. A senior Congress spokesperson, Anand Sharma, stressed on the need for clarity on the taxes that would be levied, since the GST bill will bring about sweeping changes in the taxation structure and the manner in which indirect taxes are levied. But the Congress wants 1% additional levy to be allowed to manufacturing states in the current GST bill scrapped. It also wants an independent dispute redressal mechanism instead of the proposed GST council as provided for in the current bill. Sharma said that the Congress is now waiting for the next formal meeting with the government for a concrete response to take the matter forward.
The present ruling dispensation, the BJP, who opposed it for partisan politics, Congress opposition is principled and has rich merit with issues that we had raised. And that's why we are now engaged constructively, and we will come back to you, but you will get to know, I'm sure, what if, as and when there is a forward movement after the next formal meeting.
Meanwhile, the centre has ruled out a plebiscite in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, replying to a short-duration discussion in the Rajya Sabha on day 1 of the monsoon session, Home Minister Rajnath Singh blamed Pakistan for fueling unrest. The opposition sought an all-party meet to discuss the issue.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh replying to a debate on the ongoing Kashmir unrest in the Rajya Sabha. The Home Minister underlining the government's approach in dealing with the issue.
मिलिटेंट के साथ शक्ति और आम जनता के साथ सिंपैथी, हम इसी पर कायम रहेंगे, इससे नहीं हटेंगे.
Rajnath Singh blaming Pakistan for the Kashmir unrest.
मैं यह मानता हूं उपसभापति महोदय, जो कुछ भी हो रहा है वो पूरी तरह से पाक स्पॉन्सर्ड है. पाक स्पॉन्सर्ड. कहने को तो नाम पाकिस्तान है, लेकिन हरकतें उसकी हर नापाक हैं. मैं कहता हर हरकतें नापाक हैं. आज एक हमारे देश में कोई आतंकवादी मारा जा रहा है और हमारे आंतरिक मामलों में पाकिस्तान हस्तक्षेप करेगा. और इतना ही नहीं, पूरे पाकिस्तान में ब्लैक डे मनाया जाएगा.
The Home Minister also ruling out plebiscite, saying the idea is outdated.
जो लोग आजादी की बातों को लेकर बराबर कश्मीर के नौजवानों को उकसाते हैं तथा कथित जनमत संग्रह की बात करते हैं, जो जनमत संग्रह की बात मैं समझता हूं कि अब पूरी तरह से आउटडेटेड हो चुकी है, इररिलेवेंट हो चुकी है, उसका कोई महत्व नहीं है. ऐसे सब सारे सवाल खड़ा करके लोगों को बराबर बरगलाने की उनकी तरफ से कोशिश की जा रही है. लेकिन हम लोग भी यह पूरी कोशिश करेंगे, कश्मीर का रहने वाला नौजवान हमारा है, हमारे परिवार का है. यदि उसको किसी ने बरगलाने की अथवा बहकाने की कोशिश की है तो हम उसे सही रास्ते पर लाने की हम पूरी अपनी तरफ से कोशिश करेंगे.
Earlier initiating the short duration discussion on the situation in Kashmir in the upper house, leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha Ghulam Nabi Azad blamed the centre and the state for excessive use of force against the common people in the valley.
सर, मिलिटेंसी के खत्म करने के लिए हम आपके साथ, लेकिन कश्मीर में आम जनता के साथ इस तरह का स्वभाव हो, सलूक हो, मुझे माफ कीजिए, हम उसमें शामिल नहीं होना चाहेंगे आपके साथ.
Azad also blamed statements by ruling leaders in the state that flared up the situation. Leader of the House Arun Jaitley, while participating in the debate, admitted the situation is a matter of concern but rejected the allegation that it was due to the PDP-BJP alliance in power.
बिगड़ने का मूल कारण ये गठबंधन नहीं था. इस स्थिति को बिगड़ने का मूल कारण टेलीविजन पर दिल्ली में कोई कार्यक्रम आ जाए और जिन लोगों से हमारा मतभेद है वो लोग उस कार्यक्रम की चर्चा में शामिल हो जाएं, केवल उसकी वजह से स्थिति बिगड़ गई, ये अपने आप को हम धोखा देने का प्रयास न करें. ये बिल्कुल स्पष्ट है कि जब से ये देश आजाद हुआ और बंटवारा हुआ, हमारे पड़ोसी देश ने कभी भी यह स्वीकार नहीं किया कि कश्मीर घाटी भारत का एक हिस्सा है.
While the Congress sought an all-party meet on the issue and sought action against those responsible for the excessive use of force, the government urged everyone to speak in one voice to bring back normalcy in the state.
एक आवाज में बिना बटे हुए हम वहां के नौजवानों से भी अपील करें कि इस आंदोलन से अपने आप को अलग रखें ताकि पुलिस और सुरक्षा फोर्सेस को वहां पर कोई कार्रवाई करने की आवश्यकता भी न पड़े.
Several opposition leaders also asked the government to begin talks with separatists to get life back on track in the valley.
ये जान लीजिए कि इस समस्या का समाधान बंदूक और ताकत और फौज से भर नहीं है, राजनीतिक तरीके से उस समस्या का निदान करने का.
हमारे हिसाब से ये गलत किया गया है. वहाँ पर अब 3 और कंपनियों को या 30 और कंपनियों को भेज रहे हैं आप, गृह मंत्री और सरकार. वहाँ पे चाहिए डॉक्टर.
Days before the beginning of the monsoon session, several political parties had expressed their wish to discuss the prevailing situation in the Kashmir Valley. That's why the short duration discussion on the issue was taken up on the first day itself of the monsoon session. Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti has called an all-party meeting over the prevailing situation on Thursday. Meanwhile, the curfew and a shutdown called by the separatists paralysed normal life for the 11th consecutive day in Kashmir on Monday. A PDP MLA was also injured in a mob attack in Pulwama district and 2 more people were killed in fresh violence on Monday.
A ruling PDP MLA from Pulwama, Mohammad Khalil Band, was injured as a mob pelted stones at the vehicle he was travelling in. Band was on his way to Srinagar at the time. The attack comes as fresh clashes broke out on Monday between protesters and security forces. In the latest round of violence, 2 civilians have also been killed. Curfew and restrictions remain in force in view of the clashes at some places, with newspapers too failing to hit the stands for the third day in a row on Monday. However, cable TV services have reportedly been restored after service providers took off all Pakistani TV channels and 2 Indian channels. But all mobile phone services, including internet and call facilities, remain suspended across the valley.
देखिए, जम्मू कश्मीर के संबंध में चिंता तो है, परंतु साथ ही साथ ये भी एक संतोषजनक बात है कि धीरे धीरे केंद्र सरकार के पूरे सहयोग एवं सहायता के साथ प्रदेश सरकार और सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज के समन्वय के परिणाम स्वरूप धीरे धीरे परिस्थितियां अब सामान्य की ओर आ रही हैं और हमें विश्वास है कि बहुत जल्द वहां पर हालात पूरी तरह सामान्य हो जाएंगे।
Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti has convened an all-party meeting in Srinagar on July 21st to discuss the prevailing law and order situation in the valley. Separatists have also extended the shutdown call in the valley in protest against the killing of Hizbul commander Burhan Wani till July 22nd. Schools and colleges in the valley, which were scheduled to reopen on Monday, will now open on July 25th as the government extended summer vacations by a week in view of the prevailing situation. Violent protests have rocked the valley since July 9th, following the killing of Hizbul Mujahideen leader Burhan Wani and 2 of his associates in an encounter. 41 people, including a cop, have been killed, while over 3,400 people, including 1,600 security force personnel, have been injured. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
Meanwhile, Black Day will be observed in Pakistan today in protest against what Islamabad says are atrocities by security forces. Now, this is after the Pakistani cabinet decision to declare slain Hizbul commander Burhan Wani as a martyr. Now, Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif had directed all relevant departments in the country to highlight the Kashmir issue at international fora. India has strongly objected to Pakistan interfering in its internal matters and has called Pakistan a terror sympathizer and supporter. Meanwhile, China has made a rare comment on the unrest in Kashmir. Now, Beijing has said that it hopes that the situation will be handled properly and the relevant parties will address the issue peacefully through dialogue. Now, in remarks posted by the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson on the ministry's website, Beijing has said, China has taken note of relevant reports. We are equally concerned about the casualties in the clash and hope that the incident will be handled properly. It also added that the Kashmir issue is left over from history. China holds a consistent stance and hopes relevant parties will address the issue peacefully through dialogue, quote unquote. Meanwhile, back home, at least 10 CRPF commandos were killed and 5 injured in a Naxal ID blast in the jungles of Bihar's Aurangabad district on Monday. An encounter followed the ambush on Jawans, resulting in the death of 3 Naxals. Now, some arms and ammunition were also recovered from the site. Now, the casualties are likely to rise as some of the Jawans were critically injured from the fierce gun battle. The Jawans belong to the 205th Cobra Battalion and were deployed in the state for conducting anti-Naxal operations. Now, this is one of the biggest casualties of the elite Cobra unit, which has been raised by the CRPF for undertaking special jungle warfare operations. News from Punjab, and BJP leader Navjot Singh Sidhu resigned as Rajya Sabha MP on Monday. Now, he was nominated to the upper house on April 22nd this year. Now, his resignation has been accepted with immediate effect by the Rajya Sabha chairman. Now, Sidhu's move comes amid strong speculation that he could join the Aam Aadmi Party. Reports also suggest that he could be made the party's chief ministerial candidate in the upcoming state elections in Punjab. While it is a big jolt for the BJP, which along with allies SAD is in direct contest with AAP in Punjab this time around. AAP leaders, however, welcomed Sidhu's decision.
लगातार नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जी और उनकी पत्नी अकाली दल के भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ, ड्रग माफियाओं के खिलाफ, किसानों की बदहाली के खिलाफ आवाज उठाते रहे हैं और मुझे लगता है कि एक बेहतर पंजाब बनाने के लिए, एक खुशहाल पंजाब बनाने के लिए, देश का नंबर 1 का पंजाब बनाने के लिए आज अच्छी शक्तियां एकजुट हो रही हैं।
सिद्धू जी पार्लियामेंट पहुंच गए और उसके बाद उन्होंने एक अच्छा सर्टिफिकेट हाथ में लेकर के वहां से निकलने का फैसला किया। इसका मतलब यह है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी में जाकर के लोग खुश नहीं हैं, या जो लोग मौजूद हैं उनमें से भी बहुत बड़ी तादाद में लोग खुश नहीं हैं। आज सिद्धू हैं, आगे पता नहीं किसका नंबर होगा।
बिना उनसे इजाजत लिए बना दिया होगा और उनको अपने पाले में ला रहे थे। वो तो सब अंदर रहे हुए हैं, यहाँ घुटन यहाँ की हालत से वाकिफ हैं, तो अपना जाल तोड़ करके निकल गए। और यहाँ से जो जाल तोड़ के निकलेगा तो बड़ा मुकाम ही हासिल करेगा ना।
And in news at 10, we'll take a very short break here. We'll be back with international and sports news. Stay with us.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Welcome back. News from the US. Well, the Republican convention is underway in Cleveland amid high security. Now, anti-Trump delegates have failed to block Donald Trump's nomination after a vote that would allow them to back a candidate of their choice was quashed. Here is a report.
Those in favor of the rules package will say aye.
First day of the Republican convention in Cleveland witnessed an uproar after opponents of presumptive US presidential nominee Donald Trump stormed out of the room and chanted in protest at their failure to win a symbolic vote opposing his candidacy.
Without objection, the motion to
explaining the report only.
The anti-Trump camp wanted to change the party's nominating rules to allow delegates to support alternative Republican candidates over Trump. The furor threatened efforts by Trump campaign to show the party had united behind him and has once again put a spotlight on the deep divisions that have emerged over his candidacy.
My point is that we should be able to have our voice. We should be able to have our voice, and that's what shows us that the party isn't listening to us.
My name is Phil Wright. I am the chair of the Utah delegation. I make a motion that we have a roll call vote on the rules.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
However, the party leaders declared there was insufficient support to allow for a roll call vote that would record the number of delegates opposed to Trump.
Secretary received requests from a total of 9 states requesting a roll call vote on adoption of report on the Committee on Rules. Subsequently, the Secretary received withdrawals, which caused 3 states to fall below the threshold required under the rules. Accordingly, the chair has found insufficient support for the request for a record vote.
Meanwhile, anti- and pro-Trump protesters also took to the streets hours before the convention.
Our country has been tongue-tied by political correctness for many years now, and he has single-handedly untied the tongues of America. And so we're speaking up, and so now patriots and citizens aren't afraid to speak up like as they have been in the past out of fear of being called a racist.
He does not have the message of the way that America should be in the 21st century. His problem is that he's looking to feed on the fear of the American people, who are angry that they haven't gotten what they think is the American dream. And it's easier to just say, oh, we're going to make America great again, than it is to solve the real problems that are facing this country. Because that takes real dialogue, real discussion, real effort, real work. It takes more than a soundbite on TV.
The Republican convention will formally coronate Donald Trump as the party's presidential candidate and Governor Mike Pence of Indiana as the vice presidential candidate. The 4-day event will conclude on Thursday with Trump delivering the acceptance speech. The Democratic convention will begin on 25th of July in Philadelphia, with Hillary Clinton poised to become the first woman nominated for president by one of the 2 major parties. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And the South China Fleet of the Chinese Navy has recently drilled its Marines in battle-ready format. The drill aims at enhancing the overall capability of what has been known as the Marines' last mile to the beach. Well, Well, the developments came after Beijing announced that it is closing off part of the South China Sea for military exercises this week. An area southeast of the Henan province is closed from Monday to Thursday for the exercises. Now, Beijing warns that during the drills, freedom of navigation patrols by the foreign navies could end in a disaster. Meanwhile, China also stated on Monday that it will not stop the construction on islands in the South China Sea, which was awarded to the Philippines by an international tribunal, dismissing pressure from Washington. News from Germany, where an axe-wielding man attacked several people on a train in the southern Germany before being shot dead by the police. The assailant, armed with a knife and an axe, was identified as 17-year-old Afghan living in a nearby town. Now, 3 people were seriously hurt and 1 suffered minor injuries. The incident happened at about 9 p.m. local time. Well, shortly after arriving at the station, the man attacked passengers with an axe and a knife. The attacker later fled the train, but the police hunted him down with the ground searchers and a helicopter, and he was killed. The motive for the attack is not yet clear.
In Richtung Würzburg einen tätlichen Angriff auf Zugreisende. Es sind insgesamt 3 Personen schwer verletzt worden. Eine Person ist leicht verletzt worden. Der Täter war bewaffnet mit einem Messer und einer Axt. Der Zug hat außerplanmäßig in Heidingsfeld halten müssen, ist aus dem Zug geflüchtet und ist auf der Flucht durch Einsatzkräfte erschossen worden.
And in an update from Turkey, well, President Recep Erdogan's supporters continue to rally in public squares on Monday, 2 days after a failed coup attempt in which 232 people were killed. Now, more than 6,000 people have been arrested and 20,000 detained as crackdown by the Turkish authorities continue on the plotters of the failed coup that attempted to topple President Erdogan's government. The government also dismissed almost 9,000 officials, including a massive number of police officers. But the president has also said that he will approve the capital punishment reintroduced by the parliament.
Bombaladığı parlamentodan inşallah görüşülmek suretiyle inanıyorum ki parlamentodaki siyasi partiler bu konuda en isabetli kararı alacaktır.
Let's get you some more international news now in World Wrap. North Korea has fired 3 ballistic missiles towards the Sea of Japan. The South Korean military says the missiles, believed to be Scud types, were launched from the western city of Gwangju. They flew some 500 to 600 kilometers with a range enough to reach all of South Korea. The missile test comes after the US and the South said that they will develop an anti-missile system to counter the threats. French Prime Minister Manuel Valls was booed as he attended a minute's silence in Nice, where an attacker in a lorry killed 84 people on Thursday. Now, hecklers shouted out "murderer" and "resign" at him before the minute's silence held across the nation. Earlier, opposition leader Nicolas Sarkozy accused the government of failing to provide security. Acting Deputy Vice-Chancellor of a private university in Bangladesh was arrested for sheltering Islamists who carried out the country's worst terror attack at a cafe has been suspended. The Professor M. Giasuddin Ahsan of the Northwest University was suspended following his arrest on charges of sheltering militants. Police said that 5 militants who carried out the attack on Gulshan Cafe on 1st of July had taken shelter in the flat owned by Ahsan. And in news from the world of sports, well, World Anti-Doping Agency or WADA has called for all Russian competitors and officials to be banned from the Rio Olympics and other international sporting events after an investigation found rampant state-run doping at the 2014 Sochi Winter Games and other events. Well, the report found that Russia's main security agency helped the sports ministry in carrying out doping in as many as 30 sports. Now, expressing shock over the revelations, the International Olympic Committee members will hold emergency talks today to decide the provisional sanctions over Russia. Russia, however, has strongly denied any state involvement in doping.
The system was set up after Russian authorities felt
was an abysmal medal count by the Russian Olympic team at the 2010 Vancouver Winter Olympics and was in place until at least August of 2015.
That's all in this edition of news. Coming up ahead is parliamentary news in English and Hindi. Stay with us. Thanks for watching.